So I was going into that terrible idea that this is gonna be really.
Well, who else are we hearing?
What is you tell when you. Well, again, I have to.
All right, welcome to the September 4th meeting of Queens Community Board 2. Happy summer, happy back at it, happy first day of school, happy business as usual for working adults. Yeah, let's get started with the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic, which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alrighty, we'll just get right into it with comments by attending public officials and their representatives. So starting with Evelyn Lee from Congressperson Grace Meng's office. Saw you. Ah, yeah. Where's the camera?
Hello, everyone. Oh, sorry, I can't get it out. Okay. Hi, everyone. Evelyn Lee from Congressman Christmas office. Nice to see you all again. I hope everyone had a great summer, even though we are also arriving here. Just a few updates from my end. Not really major updates from my office, but we do see, I was talking to Anto actually earlier. We did notice a wave of new arrested by ICE coming up in our community. So if you need any help or any lawyers need anything from their bond hearing, definitely reach out to our office. And we do see a trend of some change in the immigration cases, especially on work permit, which is the employment authorization. That's just like from our casework side, we do see a lot of people are getting denied on their work permits when they try to renew. And we see the I-730 case, which is the relatives for the asylum applications, they are also being transferred to a new office of USCIS. We don't really know what that means yet, so we're trying to figure out. Aside from that, we actually, thanks for the community here. We actually received 2 reports for the mail theft here from this neighborhood today. So I know it's probably coming up again. So if you need anything to investigate it, we actually did reach out to USPS from a large, because we did get a lot of reports about mail theft over the summer. So we reached out to them, and then they actually escalated the matter to the the investigation department. So they actually reached out to the constituents directly and talked to them about the prevention and their ongoing investigation. So if you have anything, please let me know. So I would love to report out to the USPS as well. So try to escalate this matter further. That's all by my side. Any questions?
Don't be.
Oh. Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Mike
Yeah,
Warner. Who would like to be Mike Warner? Just no hops. Yeah.
Hello.
A little bit tough question, but I feel compelled to ask it. Where's the congressman standing on the U.S. divesting from funding continued military operations by Israel through Gaza?
Repeat the question, please, for the audio today.
Oh, yeah. So the question was, what's Congresswoman stand on the continuing funding for Israel and for the military operation in Gaza?
Funding specifically
For
their bomb military operations that are being used in West Bank and Gaza.
I understand. So I'm pretty sure, I'm sure Congresswoman is, seeking for the peaceful solution in this area, but I don't want to misquote her. Do you mind if I get back to you? Yeah.
I helped you to
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you. I have your contact, so I just confirm with you after this, and then I will get back to you.
And I
Thank
have
you.
the same question that I want to jump ahead of you up there too.
Yes, awesome.
All right.
All right.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Next is Tiffany Javaria from Congressperson Nady Velasquez's office. And then Mercedes, prepare to unmute.
Good evening, everyone. Nice to see you again. My name is Tiffany. I am representing Congresswoman Nydia Velasquez. We're going to give some federal updates. Oops, so sorry. So Congress is now back in session after a recess period as the federal fiscal year is set to end on September 30th of this month. When votes are held on the upcoming congressional budget, the Congresswoman will oppose any appropriation bills that, She'll oppose any appropriation bills that reduce funding to critical services essential to people's survival and well-being. Back in July, the Congresswoman was denied again her right to perform oversight at 26 Federal Plaza building. She has visited this building multiple times, believing that it was being used as an ICE detention facility. As we all know, it turned out to be true. The Congresswoman has called on the Department of Homeland Security to further investigate the facility. More updates to come because we know that this is an ongoing thing. So, local updates. The Congresswoman is hosting a congressional app challenge. This is for middle school and high schoolers that are interested in STEM. The challenge is basically how to code their own app, their own website, and if they submit, they get a chance for national recognition. So go to DC and also meet the Congresswoman herself. This is something that I'm trying to really blast out. This is the flyer, what it looks like, and just how to be eligible. Another thing that we're really working on is called the Flood Solutions Fair, which is actually taking place here in Sunnyside Community Services. Along with the City Sponge and Newtown Creek, we will be having this on September 13th, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. And just to make things a little bit more easier, I have a little QR code here if you guys want to check it out. And we also have Nick from the City Sponge handing out some flyers. But here, basically, you will hear from experts about how you could directly take action on flooding situations, because it has been a very floody summer. So this is just a little direct one-on-one with experts on how you can directly help yourself with flood solutions. And that would be it. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, thank you. How can those of us who are not immigrants help the Congresswoman? Like, can you show up and support her when she tries to end her? And I would never ask anybody to do this whose status is not my status.
Yeah, so the question was, how can citizens help the Congresswoman when it comes to immigration efforts? Well, basically, I could take down your information. My phone number and all the contact info is over there. I could take down your email, your info, and I could contact whoever wants to be involved directly for any other efforts that are going to be happening, whether it's rallies, press conferences, or the Congresswoman herself showing up to Federal Plaza. Because they do happen very sporadically, but I could try my best to, always update you guys for whoever wants to be more involved.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
My question, I guess, kind of in the same vein. So I know that the agents cover the basics, and so is there any way where that something can be passed so that they have to actually show their faces and, when they're making arrests, especially when I've been seeing a lot on TikTok and social media that that a lot of times the people that are being detained don't know they're being detained. And so is there a way that they can, Congress people can pass some sort of bill or law or whatever that says they have to not conceal their faces anymore?
Yeah, so for audio, the question was, are there any legislations or bills that Congress could pass for ICE to not show their face as they do wear masks when they're making these arrests? Well, the Congresswoman actually has introduced herself. I want to say back 2 months ago. It's called ICE no mask for ICE, which basically states that they cannot wear face coverings and they have to differentiate themselves with police, because sometimes they do have little blurbs that say police, but in reality, they are ICE. So what are the chances that this bill will get passed with this administration is rather a better question. But there are Congress members that are doing legislation out there, putting it out, but rather the question is, now that Congress is back in session, is this bill something that is going to get passed with both Democrats and Republicans, especially since the Republicans are in the majority? So that would be my question. We could monitor it, see what happens, but yeah. Anyone else? Sure.
Just two quick questions. One was the one I posed to Congressman Ming's office,
Mhm.
is the congressman's position on divesting from not appropriating funds toward military operations that are used by Israel in Gaza and West Bank.
Mhm. Yeah, so that, her question was, what is the Congresswoman's stance on defunding military for efforts in the West Gaza?
The US not providing.
US not providing funds. Gotcha, okay. Well, the Congresswoman has been a supporter for Gaza since day one, so she's definitely, and I have to double check like logistical legislation, but as her representative, as me representing her, she most likely is not going to support any funding at all for like military to Gaza to bomb civilians. That's just my common 2 cents being a staffer of the Congresswoman. But I could definitely get more information because we are trying to do more meetings with the DC team to see exactly what's going on and what are the efforts now that Congress is back in session. So I could come back with more clarity and details back in October.
And
Mhm.
the second question has to do with the Corporate Responsibility Act 2019. I was curious because at that time, the Congressman had a number of sessions to help people with LLCs and corporations understand how they have to register. And I was just following up on that since I hadn't heard of it.
Yeah.
LLCs are often used as a way to mask responsibility by individuals, especially in real estate.
Yeah.
So I was just curious if, any updates on that.
Sure. So her question was, what are the updates for the Corporate Responsibility Acts of 2019, correct? Okay. So that is actually something that we have been monitoring because it did go through Congress saying, hey, this is something that you have to do. And then Trump kind of came in and said, you could kind of do whatever you want. All right. So right now things are kind of unclear. However, we are still urging small businesses and businesses to still file. Because in the future, we predict that this is something that small businesses are still going to have to do. But there isn't any clear specific details from the Trump administration saying, hey, like, you have to do this, hey, you do not have to do this. It's still up in the air. But we predict that this is something that will need to be done in the future. But again, however, I can come back with more details. All right. Okay, thank you guys so much. Have a good night.
Thank you, Tiffany. Next is Mercedes from State Senator Generis' office, then Catherine, and then Ben.
Thank you so much, everyone, for having me again. This is Mercedes Jennings from State Senator Michael Generis' office. Just want to give you a few updates from the summer. Senator Generis has provided funding for 14 schools within our district to help provide additional academic and extracurricular supports to its students. Additionally, on Friday, August 22nd, Senator Generis was in Woodside Houses alongside Assemblywoman Jessica Gonzalez Rojas, giving out backpacks and lunch bags to students in the community. The senator also was at the backpack event for CEC 30 on Tuesday, August 26th, giving out lunch boxes as well as backpacks and activity books to the students. Senator Generis was also at Queens Community Day at the Met on Wednesday, September 3rd. And then additionally, this Saturday, if you would like to see the senator, he is doing 3 events. He will be at Maspeth Federal Savings, for their 9/11 memorial ceremony. He will also be at the Variety Boys and Girls Club at the Back to School event, giving out more backpacks and activity books from our office. And he will also be at the GBK Community Picnic in Queensbridge Park. In addition to that, the senator has also been keeping a close eye on the Queens bus redesign. As you're aware, the senator wanted me to tell CB2 thank you so much for the support that the transportation community has provided to the constituents. The buses for the Q32 and the Q60 had a lot of protests about some of the stops, and those stops were reinstated, especially the one that's right by Sunnyside Community Services. So we're really happy about that, but we're still receiving complaints and concerns from the community. So please, if you hear anything, feel free to let our office know. We want to keep our eyes and ears to the ground on that so we could provide continuous support to our constituents and see if there's anything that could be done to make the redesign a much easier transition for all of us. And also our office will be moving. So at the next meeting in October, I will be providing the official address and information for everyone in the community board. Are there any questions?
Mercedes, think you're off the hook.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mercedes. Then Catherine from Senator Gonzalez's office. And then Ben, and then Jamie. Then Ben, then Jamie, and Steph. Audio issues today.
Hi, everyone. Happy first day of school, and I hope everyone had a wonderful summer. It's good to see so many familiar faces. My name is Catherine. I am a senior advisor for Senator Kristen Gonzalez. And just a couple of things to talk about what we've been up to this summer. So first, as Mercedes mentioned, the Queens Bus Network redesign went into full effect on Tuesday, September 2nd. That was the first weekday. We're working with the MTA and constituents to help them navigate route changes and any concerns they have. And as Mercedes mentioned, please reach out to our office if you do have any concerns or questions about things that have changed on your route or things you see that aren't quite working the way you think they should. The MTA is monitoring and taking this feedback in the first few months of this redesign so that they can make it as good as possible. Additionally, the MTA is raising or has said that they are raising the rates or subway fare to $3 starting in January of next year. However, they are still accepting public comments on these rate increases. I have to believe that it will make a difference. If you do have public comments, please submit them. Additionally, this backpack giveaway season, so we've been working with various partners, resident associations, Queensbridge, Ravenswood, Astoria Houses, for over 13 events across the district this year. We still have a few more coming up at Ravenswood this Saturday. Variety Boys and Girls Club Back to School Bash. We'll hopefully see some of you there as well. A couple of upcoming events. So I know that a couple of officers already mentioned the Flood Solutions Fair on September 13th. There are flyers in the back if you want to join. Additionally, our office, along with Councilmember Wan's office, Borough President Richard's office, and Assemblyman Mondano's office, will be hosting an MTA accessibility webinar on September 11th. So again, flyers in the back. If you're interested in joining, it will be virtual and accessible on Zoom. Also, save the date. We are hosting a virtual Fight the Right Town Hall on Monday, October 6th from 6 to 8 p.m. Stay tuned for the link on our IG and in our upcoming newsletter this week. And this will be from 6 to 8, Monday, October 6th, virtual. That's good. Thank you. Oh, yes.
Repeat the question. Got it.
Okay. Thank you. So
Feedback.
let's, I'll do this one. Let's start with immigration. So one, are you gonna go back into session? I know the governor has to call it, but is Kristen gonna push to go back into session? And there are three, as you know, bills that might help with ICE. One is New York for All Act, which I know you're aware of. Two is the MEL Act, which actually would prohibit ICE agents, or whatever they are, from wearing masks in New York State. And the last one is the Safe Air Act, which would stop airlines from flying people who did not have due process get back to wherever. So that's one. Two, can you push the governor to do something like what they're doing in California, Oregon, and Washington with like making their own CDC type agency to make sure we all are actually vaccinated and healthy and not whatever. Just seems like a good idea, and it seems like there's some surrounding states that would do that with us. And then I guess the main question though is, are y'all going back in session?
Okay. So, I'm gonna start with the bills first. I'm gonna go, yeah, so I'll start with the bills first. So the MELT Act, which is the preventing ICE agents from wearing masks, and then also New York for All. Senator Gonzalez has already, co-sponsored those bills. The Safe Air Act, which was introduced by Senator Fahey, I will have to check. Extremely supportive of protecting immigrants' rights in this community, of fighting back against ICE raids, and of supporting immigrants who are having their hearings at 26 Federal Plaza. So I think also would be very much supportive of making sure that that they're not being persecuted in airlines and airports, stuff like that. So the next question about the CDC, a potential statewide CDC. The senator is on the health committee, and it's something I will definitely bring up to her. However, I will just say that standing up a new agency at the state level is a monumental task, but it is a wonderful idea, and it's something that might take a while, but it seems like it might be necessary. That's something we can definitely.
Working
Yeah.
California.
Yeah.
This is California.
Yeah, they're much better at setting up. I'm not kidding. We actually tried with AI. As you know, the senator is a leader in AI. We actually were looking at some of their bills for privacy, and they were able to. One of their bills was just stand up an agency to protect privacy. And we're like, could we do that? That's yeah. And then finally going back into session. So as you mentioned, the governor does have to call session. Senator is working really closely with her colleagues just to make sure that these important issues with federal funding are at the state level. The state comptroller did find $3 billion, which is, I think, part of why we haven't heard much about going back before January. But the senator is working hard to, as soon as we can, make sure that we're getting we're getting funding needed to make sure that these cuts don't impact New Yorkers, as well as also trying to pass things like New York for All. Yeah, so.
Thank you.
Do you have any updates on the possibility of your state districting right away?
Sorry, so restrict. Okay, sorry. Question. Yeah,
do you have any updates on the governor having the state legislature putting out redistricting again right away?
Oh yeah. So the question is about redistricting.
Also being done in California.
Yeah. I don't have any updates about where the governor's office is on that. I will say New York State's constitution prohibits partisan gerrymandering. So that's just one of the hurdles that would have to be overcome in order for the governor to do that. Same thing. Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you very much. I have a question. Laura Lovedani ran a very successful blog recently about where one of the platforms was raising the minimum wage to $30 per hour for New York City. Is there something similar happening in New York State? There's a real want for it, a real need for it, because wages have not kept up with inflation. And is Senator Gonzalez behind anything?
Yes. So the question was whether, yeah, so whether there is an effort to raise the minimum wage in New York State. So I would have to get back to you on that. I would imagine that, yes, there is a bill to that because there's a bill to do everything. I'm not sure who has it right now, and I will say after the recent, like after the state raised minimum wage recently, I mean, that they did that, of course, before some of the biggest inflation hits came through. So I think it's something that might be worth reevaluating.
Sure, thank you. So, yeah, New York City wants higher minimum wage.
Yeah.
According to the Democratic primary, we'll see if he becomes mayor, but New York State should also be looking for that. Thank you.
Next is Ben Lotto, Ben Jamie, from Assemblymember Mamdani's office. He legally forbidden to answer any campaign questions. Ben Jamie, and then Steph.
Put this on the.
Please, yeah.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you again, especially on the first day of school. I'm Benjamin, Assemblymember Mamdani's Communications Director in the district. Thanks so much for having us. To start with some brief office updates, our office has hosted, similar to our colleagues, 5 backpack giveaways this summer, and we plan on hosting a 6th this weekend. And after giving out around 800, we have some extras. So if you would like some backpacks, please feel free to let me know, or you can reach out and call our office. We have around 100 extras, so please feel free. In addition, our office is hosting new satellite office hours for Queensbridge residents at the Queensbridge Community Center starting on Wednesday, September 10th, next week from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Planning to host this every month. If you have any issues you need assistance with, housing, quality of life, etc., please feel free to stop by or call our office to get more information. Lastly, as we enter the school year, we wanted to share a couple of reminders, namely that New York City Public Schools is currently seeking feedback regarding new school planning and buildings coming to the neighborhood, particularly from residents of CEC 30 in Long Island City, who have a child attending school in the district or a child who may attend school in the district. As it builds a new elementary school for the 26 and 27 school year, Public Schools is asking what temporary site essentially should house the new school. And in addition, where the permanent location should be. The survey is located online. I can give you the URL. It's very long and complicated to say aloud, but if you'd like it, I could share. And we also wanted to highlight that District 30's Family Welcome Center is available for anyone in the district to get more information. Essentially, Family Welcome Centers serve New York City families year-round with questions they may have on admissions and enrollment and student guidance and navigating the school system. And District 30's Family Welcome Center is located at 2811 Queens Plaza North on the 3rd floor in Long Island City. It's open from Monday to Thursday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Friday from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. If you'd like to get in contact with them, you can go in person, or you can call 718-039-1627 or email queensplaza.nwc@school.nys.gov. Thank you so much. Hope you all have a nice evening.
Not too nice.
Trying to speak fast. Hi.
Sheila,
Question.
I couldn't post this question to the senator's office, but follow up here. It kind of goes in line with the Corporate Responsibility Act. That was a federal bill that is kind of not being followed. But I wonder if in New York State level, since LLCs have to register in New York State, if there could be a state requirement that they cannot hide who the owners are of the LLCs, because that does cause an issue. Those who can get that protection get it, but then from a basic small business owner to a property owner who don't have LLCs, don't have protections, and it's better to be transparent. So just to kind of put it out to consider at the state level.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We'll absolutely forward that to our legislative director. Really like it. Thank you.
Yes. All right, you're off the hook.
All right, thank you so much. You'd like a backpack?
Get those backpacks. Jamie, from Assembly Members from the Marcus office, then, Steph from Assembly Member Claire Vallis.
Hi, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed your restful summer. My name is Jamie. I do want to apologize. The assembly member was going to come tonight, but he does have a wake deep in Queens. But he is trying to come if the timing permits. But I do have office updates and I'll be here the entire time. So please let me know if there's any questions. First off, I do want to thank everyone, especially Senator Janaris, Julie Wan, Pan, Woodside on the Move, St. Sebastian's, Bagel Plus, Pizza Boy, and other key stakeholders and community leaders for having us reinstate the bus stop right outside St. Sebastian. So really happy and grateful for everyone coming together. Just because we did have a lot of concerns for like and the local businesses, so really excited that was a good win. Also happy to announce that we have allocated discretionary funding to ACE. So it's like through, and now we have ACE doing cleanings 5 days a week around the district. Yes, pigeon droppings. We've been working with Councilmember Julie Wan's office. Also on that note, we do have a bit of flexibility of where we can move them within like a week and a half to 2 weeks. So the assembly member does want to tackle bird pigeon pooping since that is not in the purview per Department of Sanitation. So he wants to be able to schedule them. We spoke to ACE, full transparency. They do the power washes about quarterly since the assembly has very little money, how much money we're able to give them. But we are prioritizing those places. So if you do have areas that you're like, I really want this cleaned, please let me know and I will flag it and then I can bring it back and we can see how we can adjust the schedule. Also do want to say the assembly member signed on to a few letters. So the first one I want to highlight is Assembly Member Simon's letter. That was about the 100-foot bill. So that is A8888. And pretty much this bill would save ratepayers up to $200 million in their energy bills. Pretty much what the bill does is it repeals the 100-foot rule, which forces families to pay more on their energy bills every month in order to expand costly, outdated, and polluting gas systems, like fracked gas systems. So sorry. I'll speed through these. He also signed into another letter that was sent to the federal government. It was spearheaded by ACLU and NICLU, pretty much urging the federal administration to re-enroll in the Human Rights Council periodic review. The federal administration has pulled out in international agreements and submitting those reports. So this letter is saying that we should be re-engaging with our international partners. And he also did sign a letter urging Governor Hochul to reject attempts to bring back gas pipeline projects to our state, specifically the Northeast Supply Enhancement Project and the Constitution Pipeline Project. Lastly, I do want to say we also held a few backpack giveaways. We had over like 700 backpacks we were able to give. We also had a youth day that we hosted where we honored youth in 80/30. And it was really great to have them like listen to a panel and then hear from them directly. But that's it, I'll stop talking. Are there any questions?
I'll say the other one. So because I spoke with Assembly Member Raga about this, it's the transparency and also Member Gonzalez Rojas, the transparency bill on the medical bills that are linked to collection agencies and how the collection agencies, they chase down people.
Yeah.
It's threatening, and they don't realize that that does not go against their credit.
Yes,
So
yes.
I spoke with the assembly member about it and Assembly Member Gonzalez Rojas, and so I want to follow up to make sure that that's received.
Was it just sorry, repeat the question, right? Okay, so the question, correct me if I'm wrong, is to make sure that there is transparency with medical debt collectors and ensuring that the public understands that
Yes.
that does not run against their credit.
Correct.
Okay.
Because you get terrified when you get this follow-up. And so just that people understand that it's not.
Yeah. Yeah, so I will definitely touch base with the Assembly Member Raga, but I do know a couple things. So this actually has been a huge issue with our constituents. We partnered with Weill Cornell in order to do a study about how to best alleviate medical debt, because one of the budget letters we partnered with Assembly Member Carinas Reyes was pretty much to allocate like a pilot program to alleviate like billions of dollars worth of medical debt in New York State. And also the Assembly Member has prioritized transparency. So I know this is one of his top priorities. I do want to make sure I'm getting you the correct updates. I will get your information right after just to touch base with the assembly member, but I know he's on board with that and that he's been working towards it. But yeah, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Steph from Assembly Member Valdez's office, then Farah, and then our Director of Community Boards.
All right, hello everyone. So like all of the offices here, our office is staying vigilant with the situation with ICE in our communities. I just want to also kind of give a shout out to every office here. I think we've been working really well together with like information sharing and making sure that we're just, keeping each other in the loop, collaborating on ways to keep our community involved and informed. So it's been really nice having a great, group of electeds and their staff in Western Queens to work with on that. Also, we're working with the Blissville Civic Association to push the DEC to address the green asphalt pollution issues. We sent a joint letter. We've also sent a letter of support for Blissville to receive a grant for air purification systems and air quality data collection. So we're hoping that goes through. And the assembly member has also been really, really vocal about calling for a special session for many reasons, because of the federal cuts that we need to make sure that we're filling, but also to pass New York for All. That's been like a really big rallying cry for her. Leadership is aware that she supports that, and we are continuing to do things to make sure that the pressure is on, so that they know that is really important to our constituents. Another thing that she is trying to push the governor on is to direct the New York Power Authority to build 15 gigawatts of public renewable energy. Currently, they're planning to build 7 in their plan, and they have a public comment. If you want to comment, see me afterward, or you can shoot me an email. My business are back there. I can get you some more information. Originally, they were going to build 3.5 gigawatts, and with public pressure, they doubled it to 7. So public pressure does work. So send an email. It might seem like nothing, but it actually does make a difference. We are also participating in the Flood Solutions Fair that'll be taking place here on the 13th, 1 to 4. And finally, we've been tabling regularly every Saturday at the Sunnyside Green Market. So if you're not able to come speak with us during our regular office hours, you can see us at the Green Market, usually between 11 and 1 and until the weather gets bad.
Please.
One for you. So along the lines of, again, health and medical needs and energy, I brought this up to Con Ed when they were here, is that is there something to, something that we've done on the bill, so that people who are on oxygen or on medical devices requiring a surge in energy are automatically get discounted utilities, because that is not the case. Right now, it's only if they receive certain forms of federal subsidy, like if they're on welfare, but not necessarily their social security disability. So someone who is on oxygen, it could be looking at a $500 a month, electric bill with no relief. So it's like this tiny little loophole that's really negatively impacting people who are very poor.
Do you know if there's a bill that already exists?
I actually don't think there is.
Okay, we'll take a look at that. Thank you. Yeah.
Repeat it.
Okay, sure.
Hello. Hello. Wanted to thank you publicly for your help with the green asphalt. And thank you for your hard work and your diligence and partnering with us to fight the good fight. I so appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You had some homework for CB2, if you're prepared to talk about it, the Liberty.
Oh, okay. I didn't know we were talking about that today.
If you want to just brief us, so we can take it to the land use committee.
Sure.
But yeah, just want we'll have some work to do, but yeah, please.
Yeah, so LaGuardia Community College approached our office and Senator Gianaris's office about potentially adding the name LaGuardia Community College to the 33rd Street stop, so getting rid of Rawson Street. and putting LaGuardia Community College. I know that the effort to bring back Rawson, Lowry, and Bliss was like a big community effort a number of years ago. So we want to make sure that there's community input if we're making this change. From our perspective, it does make sense, so that people, who are going to the community college, not just to go to school, but lots of public events for wayfinding, to have it actually in the name of the stop would be useful, but just, want to raise that here, so that's something the community can have some input on.
So maybe we can take that to the, I don't know, land use agenda and I guess discuss it. I mean, again, that's the, or transportation. Maybe kind of, so yeah, we'll take it under one of our committees. Exactly. Let's turn this into a 4-hour meeting. Great, I think, yeah, Steve. Mike, give us.
Just curious. Just curious, are there any other subway stops named after local schools like Columbia University or something like that?
There are several, and even I believe this past legislative session, there were 2 that were renamed. So there seems to be a trend. Yeah.
Columbia. Great, you go off the hook.
Great.
Bob, number one's office, and then Michael and Lawrence.
Good evening, everyone. Happy first day of school, and I hope everyone had a wonderful summer break, and that everyone got a chance to relax. So a few updates, and I'm going to try to get this all under 2 minutes. The final public hearing, so yesterday there was a CPC vote, 1LIC passed the CPC. That has now started the process of negotiation. So the final public hearing on 1LIC will be on Wednesday, September 17th, beginning at 10 a.m. at City Hall. This is a final critical opportunity for the public to weigh in on their rezoning ahead of the City Council vote later this fall. It is recommended to attend and testify in person. Testimonies will begin approximately an hour or so after the hearing, but there's also a remote option available. After that, on September 29th, the Committee on Parks and the Committee on Contracts will host a hearing on Griffin's Landscaping, a vendor whose owner, Glenn Griffin, was recently sentenced to 2 years in federal prison. Though the company has been placed under a monitorship by the New York City Department of Investigation, it continues to receive taxpayer-funded contracts. If anyone is interested in attending that hearing, you can attend in person, or you can also view it online through the City Council website. Thanks to the $2 million secured in the fiscal year 2026 adopted budget, the Hunters Point Library will now have 7-day services beginning this Sunday. We're really excited about this expansion because it's a big step towards ensuring everyone in our district, especially Long Island City, Sunnyside, Woodside, have daily access to essential resources, whether it's books, internet, job searches, or community space. And so we want our team wanted to, and the council member wanted to thank Speaker Adams and the Public Library for prioritizing literacy, learning, and safety community spaces in our district. Going on to constituent services updates, this summer we distributed over 700 backpacks to community members over 12 different events, beginning in mid-July and ending last week. And on top of all the backpack giveaways, we also did a bike helmet fitting in giveaway. We did several movie nights, about 6 of them, where we showed Mufasa, Wicked, Inside Out 2. And then we have 3 different types of clinics coming up. We have our Legal Immigration Services Clinic. That you'll have to call our office to set an appointment for, because those are on a first come, first served basis, and we kind of have to coordinate with the lawyer on that. Then we have our housing lawyer on September 8th and 23rd through Communities Resist. And then we have a Veterans of Foreign Wars clinic. So this is specifically for veterans or family members of veterans, where we have a full day clinic from 10 to 5, and you can get any answers on questions that pertain to a variety of different veterans benefits. And then lastly, along with Assemblymember Valdez's office, we've been hearing a lot about the green asphalt issues in Blissville. And so we actually recently met with Green Asphalt and are asking them to be compliant with state regulations. And that Green Asphalt monitors and share air testing data and communicate directly with community members. So that way there's transparency on top of all of the monitoring from the state agencies and with our work with state elected officials. And that's it.
Steve.
Thank you, Farah, and thanks to your office and Ellie Lauterbach for reaching out to us regarding to let us, giving us advance notice of the upcoming council hearing on one LIC. And I know that there will be people from this board who want to testify. It would be very helpful to and make our testimony more effective if we could understand the council members' positions, and specifically, you know, what her thoughts are on our set of recommendations, as well as Community Board One's recommendations, as well as the recommendations of the borough president. We don't have any understanding right now or information about where the negotiations and discussions have gone and what the council member is thinking and what she supports of our recommendations. So we would really appreciate that information.
All of it.
Summarize.
Okay. So the question that Christine asked is basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, but where Councilmember One's positions are on all the community recommendations made by Community Boards 1, 2, Borough President, and where are the negotiations? Why are they not being shown in this part of the process?
Well, we'd like to understand the council member's positions.
Okay, and understanding the Councilmember One's positions. Did I get everything?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you for that question. So I'll go a little bit back. I know with Community Board 2, Councilmember 1 was present during the working group meetings. One of the working group meetings, I believe it was the final one. And she was very supportive of the recommendations that Community Board 2 had made. With each of the different recommendations, I believe there's about 70 of them, or less than that, sorry.
No,
12 pages.
right. I mean, I guess specifically the ones that are part of the actions, you know, what the council is going to be voting on specifically in terms of the zoning actions. It would be really helpful to understand her, you know, whether she supports modification of those. Which were certainly within our recommendations to modify some of those.
Okay, so just going back a little bit, after yesterday's vote, today is the first day in which the process of negotiations begins. So that means with the city, the testimonies that will be done on the 17th, plus a lot of other work that the council members should definitely taking into account all the recommendations that Community Board 2 made. The Community Board 1 made, and all the community-driven, you know, recommendations made by other community members during the different hearings that we've had, whether it's at the Community Board meeting back in May, or any of the listening sessions. When she goes into the negotiations period, that is going to basically change how this project looks. That process starts today. And so Ellie from our team, I can definitely have her connect with you to explain that a little bit more in depth, but just to give a general overview of, you know, things are going to be changing every single day. And if you all remember Innovation Queens, that project changed hour to hour, minute by minute. It was, you know, so many different negotiations were happening around that time that there wasn't a final document of what was going to be happening until the vote. And that was basically the minute up until the vote, and we would not get that information until afterwards.
I understand what you're saying, but I also know in the case of other rezonings, such as the Garment Center rezoning that just happened, that there were conversations between the council members and the community board ongoing during that that period of negotiations, and I hope that the same thing can happen here, and that the community board can be included in the conversation.
Okay, I'll definitely pass that on to our team.
So, just to follow up on that, your mention of Innovation Queens, which in Queens, New York, it says today that has fallen apart. So, given the lessons learned from the negotiation on Innovation Queens and the concessions made by developers, how do you think that the council person or the council in general can ensure that the promises made are going to be promises kept? And that this isn't gonna, lessons learned, Farah, that the council person will, take those into consideration.
So the question asked was, today in Queens, New York, Innovation Queens was announced as not continuing anymore, basically. And how can we take the lessons learned from that and apply it to this project?
Yes, that's one question. And second question, in that, right, there's no guarantee that it's not gonna fall apart. That one LIC, they're all individual owners. So concessions made, I mean, there's gotta be some way for the council person and the council in general to look at how to, adopt measures to, I don't know if they can ever keep something from falling apart. But, if it does fall apart, it's like it's gonna proceed piecemeal.
And so with response to the first question, or just to break it down a little bit, Innovation Queens was a project that was basically a private development, private rezoning, or something along those lines. One LIC is more city driven, and so I believe that difference plays a part, and would definitely have to touch base with Eddie on the specific differences there. But I do believe that that is one of the things that would, because we're holding these, because this is city driven, I believe that there would be more opportunities to hold the city accountable to make sure that whatever negotiations are made for the community, those would be upheld. However, Ellie would most likely have the better information on that.
Yeah.
And then I apologize, what was the last part of the question?
It's a huge concern that a project as big as that, so we've undergone this for, how long? For, 3 years. That we've undergone this negotiation for 3 years, if not more.
Right.
That, that there's some way that the council person needs to produce the recommendations that the community board asked for, and I don't know, and just, make it, ensure that the developers agree. And I guess there's gonna be community advisory committee, correct?
I cannot speak to that, but I can definitely have Ellie get back to you on that.
When is the date for the final council vote?
We do not have a date yet. All I know is that it's later in the fall. We will get that date sometime after the hearing, or right around the time of the hearing.
I hope that it is after our next board meeting, and would invite, strongly invite you, Ellie, and the council member to be present at the next CB2 board meeting, so that, we get, all board members can really have this conversation that we're hoping for. I feel that we're entitled to. Thank you.
No, of course. And then just to go back on Innovation Queens, and just, I know Councilmember One, yesterday we released a statement that, with all of the concerns surrounding Innovation Queens, we just hope that the landlords are kept accountable, and that anybody who decides to purchase and rezone the land meets the community-driven recommendations and benefit obligation, like the benefits and the obligations that are on this, in the parcels of land that Innovation Queens are on. So that's, we don't know where the future lies with Innovation Queens right now, because A lot of things are up in the air since this is pretty recent news, but once we get more information, we can definitely share that.
Do the agreements go with the land?
That I can't answer, but I can have Ellie get back to you.
That was one of the points I was going to ask. Thank you, Lisa. I did want to drill down on when the question that I'm following up with Steve said, the council member with Innovation Queens did have a line in the sand when it came to a portion of so-called affordable housing that was going to be invested by the developers, and council member held fast on that, and it's quite controversial. So getting back to the question of where the council member stands in advance of going into these negotiations, it would be helpful for us to know, just in the same way the developer is going to walk in the room and say, here's what we want. What is the initial council member walking says, here's what we want. So that I think was kind of, am I right, Christine, kind of question is like, we understand that things go this way, they go that way, but a negotiation starts with, this is our list, this is our list. So what is the council members like position walking into those negotiations? What is her position? What is, she's like, this is what we want, that will then go through the wobbles. So that was one thing. And then coming back to the question of, you know, right now we're still sitting with a hole in the ground from the Millennial Building that was promise made from the O'Connor brothers property. When we, you know, so these community promises need to be front loaded. So kind of to the point of like Innovation Queens, the promises like, if this happens, that you're entitled to the land, if we don't get them up front, we may never get it. What has it been, 15 years since the 15 years that you were promised faculty and graduate housing, and there's a hole in the ground that's been there for 15 years, which should be made a park, right now, since we now, that is a spot to be a park. But like, can we front load, can the council push to front load the community benefits?
So the council members, what's the council member starting point for negotiations?
So
Thank you.
just to recap, what are the council members' priorities for negotiations? And then,
Not just the priorities, because they using the term hope, we all kind of looked at each other and we heard hope. Like, you know, you walk in the room and it's like, I want a turkey sandwich. And we don't have turkey, but you walk in with, I want a turkey sandwich. So what is the council members, this is what I want.
Yeah.
It's not just priorities, because priorities is a looser word in some way.
yeah, so a better way to put this is a council member wants like red lines, right?
Yes.
And so her red lines are guarantee of affordable housing, so maximizing the development of permanently affordable housing units at a range of income levels. And this is also on the One LIC page on our website, so that way everybody has access to that as well. So one of her red lines is affordable housing. Another red line is a connected waterfront from Queensbridge Park to Gantry Park. New public spaces.
I think we know this part,
Yeah.
but it's that's like, and then the community board 1 put together their list, community board 2 put together their list. Like, and so what did the council take from all of that to change for her checklist as she walks in the room? I don't think we're gonna get the answer right now, but I'm just clarifying that we are not looking for what's on the policy, not looking for her overarching priorities. We want to understand what can we get behind with her. Like what, you know, like is she walking in the room saying, well, CB1 and CB2, these are the things, and I'm standing with them so that we can stand with her.
Okay, so I'll definitely, again, that's more suited for Ellie, and I can have her connect with you so that, and everyone who, yeah. So I'll have her connect with everyone, basically, the land use committee.
Also, I think the full board should.
Yeah, so I don't believe the vote would be anytime before the next meeting.
So yeah, our next meeting's October. No, it's not.
October 9th.
Okay, October 9th.
Yeah.
So now we have, so we invite.
So I will,
Come and have a conversation with us on October 9th.
so I will have Ellie and Councilmember 1, if it fits in her, like if it's able to schedule for her to come here, so that way they can actually in-depth answer these questions, and be able to provide live answers. And I'll also provide that feedback of front loading the commitments so that basically an obligation is tied to the land as opposed to the opposite.
Loading it so that we don't end up with holes in the ground after a building is built.
Right.
Riley, last one, quickly.
So, Steve, oh, sorry.
Clarify, actually, clarify, 60-day limit to 10 years.
From when?
From today, yes.
Today, first day.
Yeah, today's the first one.
So that's.
No, it's November. Oh, yeah.
It
November.
would be late October, early November. That's
Okay, just on the one LIC point from the Transportation Committee, hello. Part of our recommendations was a streetscape master plan for the area, because one hadn't really been developed by DCP in the presentation. So if there's anything that DOT or DCP are working on, we'd love to see that. Any changes that they have in mind for the area, we want to know before any vote takes place. Our recommendation included Vision Zero, safety priorities, protected cyclists, priorities, walkability. And so if there's any changes to the streets, Transportation Committee and the rest of the board would like to see that for the vote.
okay. Thank you. So the question was any changes to the street landscape and the recommendations made in terms of transportation. Would love, Transportation Committee would love to see that before the vote. And so I'll take that feedback back to the team and perhaps maybe we can have Ellie also meet with just community board folks to discuss this more in depth.
Would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And then one last question, about green asphalt. We were told that, we had sent a letter to DOT to ask them to not use green asphalt for, their asphalt needs. And we kind of get some responses like, oh, it's the winter time, so we don't use them anyway. And every time I ask our DOT rep if DOT still uses them, it doesn't sound very sure of an answer. So we'd like to know for sure if the DOT is using green asphalt for asphalt.
Okay, I can have Julissa, who you've met, or reach out to the DOT to get a clear answer.
Sure, thank you.
Might work, may not work.
Does mine work? No. Let's see. So light is on.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, hey, good. On a separate subject, but I know that the daylighting bill that Congressman Councilwoman Wong has been the prime advocate for it, whatever the technical term is, but and we really want to see that she does get passed. Is there anything we can do? Are there any updates? Because we think that this is it's crucial to have daylighting, hardened daylighting in our district. And it's sort of along with that bill, a separate issue is also getting Sammy's Law implemented more in our district. And are there any updates on those subjects?
So I believe for the daylighting bill, it still has to, I have to double check, and so don't quote me on it. But I believe for the daylighting bill, we still have to go through the hearing. And so during that time, usually during hearings, it's recommended that community members go and testify why this bill is important, or share their perspectives on the bill. And so I can get more information on that and share it with at the next community board meeting, or if it's before the next community board meeting, I'll just email Anatolia so that way it can get shared out, and Debbie as well. And then with the Sammy's line, I have to double check with our legislative and national director on that.
But we appreciate what she does.
Yeah, no, the need for hardened barriers is necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send it there, we gotta move on.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Let's get to this is yeah. Michael and Laura. And then Narissa. And then Chris Cardone from SES. And no questions for Michael today, sorry.
Out of respect to the venue. All right, good evening, everybody. Michael Carlier here, Director of Community Boards on behalf of Donovan Richards, Queensborough President. Before we get into what we're working on, just want to reintroduce Laura Shepherd, who will be our CB2 rep going forward. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Feels like I was just here. Can't believe it's been 6 months, and in that time, the Queensborough Bridge South Outer Walkway opened. We finally broke ground on Lieutenant Michael Davidson Park. The Blissville Greenway went in, and so much more has happened. It's great to be here back with everyone. Hope you all enjoyed your summers. So we've got a whole slate of events coming up in September. So now that school is back in session, the VP's office is once again hosting monthly parent advisory meetings. The next one is on Tuesday, September 9th at 6 p.m. via Zoom. It's a joint session with our Civic Engagement Committee and will feature remarks from New York City Public Schools Chancellor Melissa Avelas Ramos. On Tuesday, September 23rd at 6 p.m., we're hosting the Caribbean Heritage Celebration at the Queens Museum in Flushing Meadows, Corona Park. The following Thursday, September 25th at 6 p.m., we'll be hosting our Mexican Independence Day celebration at Queensborough Hall in Kew Gardens. And finally, Saturday, September 27th from 4 to 7 p.m., we're hosting our annual Queens Climate Expo. This will be at the New York Hall of Science, 4701 111 Street in Corona. You may RSVP to any of these events on our website at queensbp.nyc.gov. And if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to our office. The phone number is 718-286-3000, or you can email me directly at lshepherd@queensbp.nyc.gov. And looking forward to working with all of you again. Thank you.
Sheila. Go ahead. Let the mic come this way. But this is Laura, not Mike.
I just wanted to, with something that the borough president does that a lot of people don't know, maybe share the information, is the nonprofit advisory group. I would say the information that is shared through that list is really important for nonprofits, and then it'll help the borough president advocate for all the nonprofits in the borough. So can you share that information with the community board to send out?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thanks for highlighting that point. Yeah, we do have a nonprofit resource network. Yeah, and they meet more or less monthly. Susie Tannenbaum, she is our Director of Nonprofit Opportunities. So yeah, I'm happy to take that back and share the contact information to the CB. And if anyone is in a close partnership with any local orgs, feel free to loop them in, because yeah, the more the merrier, you know, not only to get resources to these nonprofits, but to have them synergize with each other as well. So that's a big thing we're working on. Thank you.
This is a question. I mean, one thing I want to say, you went through the community board, we issued a report, you went through the borough president, was your report issued?
Yes.
Do we have a copy of it? Because I haven't seen it. I just have to look for the right place.
Yeah, we publicize that, but yeah, we can circle back with Debbie and Ato and make sure that info is out there.
Still going out to the city council, we'd like to see if the borough president agreed, disagreed, and how we get it and so forth. Thank you.
In some cases, in some aspects, he was stricter than we were.
Right. Well, we have to see it.
Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah, we'll get that. No worries. All right. All right.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Narissa from the DA Cax's office. Quick, I guess it's okay. Motion to, since our guests canceled, motion to, before we get to attendance, let city planning do the report. Second. What's up? Our two guests.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have time, so might as well. Second. I want to let city planning go earlier. Yeah, after public comment. All right, all in favor? Show of hands, all right. Folks online, I'm sure we agree. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marissa Martinez. I'm a community coordinator at the Queens District Attorney Belinda Katz's office. It's wonderful to see you all again. I hope you all had a great summer. Just two quick updates, one from July. On July 2nd, the last of the 6 defendants who attacked police in the early hours of June 17th, 2024, outside a hotel on 12th Street in Long Island City has been sentenced. All 6 defendants pleaded guilty. NYPD officers on patrol spotted young children riding bikes at 4 a.m. And when they had approached nearby adults, they were surrounded and assaulted. Miguel Trabusa, 24 of Roosevelt Avenue in Corona, Natalie Isa, 28, address unknown, pleaded guilty on May 27th to 2 counts of attempted assault in the 2nd degree. Supreme Court Justice Lei Chang sentenced Trabusa today to, or July 2nd, to 1 to 3 years in prison. Issa was sentenced to 1 to 3 years in prison on June 17th. Christian Taipe, 31 of 36th Avenue in Astoria, also pleaded guilty to 2 counts of attempted assault in the 2nd degree on May 12th and was sentenced to 1 to 2 years in prison on June 9th. Defendants Alejandro Munoz, 43, Juan Munoz, and Karina Navarro Chavez, 43, of all of 10th Street in Long Island City, were sentenced to 364 days in jail. All 3 pleaded guilty to riot in the 2nd degree. The DA's office has been hyper-focused on shuttering smoke shops, illegally selling marijuana. Working with the NYPD and the NYC Sheriff Cannabis Task Force, our office recently padlocked 6 different businesses. None of these stores were licensed dispensaries. The 6 locations shuttered were Hollis Convenience on 99th Avenue in Hollis, Moon Rocks on Utopia Parkway in Flushing, No Limit on Linden Boulevard in Cambria Heights, Zaza Exotic on Linden Boulevard in Cambria Heights, Sunnyside Clouds on 40th Street in Sunnyside, Fumes Puff on Queens Boulevard in Sunnyside. In addition to locking the business's doors, the operation seized over 300 pounds of cannabis products and 170 pounds of illegal tobacco vapes. Since November 2022, investigations and enforcement operations have resulted in the prosecution of 445 individuals for felony-related charges for sale and/or possession of cannabis or a controlled substance. In Queens County, we have had a total of 310 shops padlocked since July 2024 with the assistance of the NYC Sheriff's Office and the NYPD. Thank you all for your time. Questions? Thank you.
Chris from SCS, after you.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. My name is Chris Cardone. I'm a staff member here at SCS. Just keeping with the spirit of first day of school, I'll let everybody know that our preschool programs welcomed back our students today. And next, I want to let everybody know that we're hosting a free jazz concert right here on Saturday at 2 p.m. Featuring the sounds of jazz composer Mark Wade. There'll be a reception to follow. If you're interested, I'm going to leave flyers over on the table. Please scan the QR code and RSVP. Any questions?
Mike, please, to Lisa.
Hey, Chris, can you tell community board members about Sunnyside's great Thanksgiving dinner?
Yes, we host
opportunities for volunteering.
Yes, we host a great Thanksgiving dinner right here where you're sitting. We welcome volunteers. Please reach out. And we would be happy to set you up. And if you want to come join us for the dinner, all are welcome.
It's been a minute since I volunteered too for that. That's really good. Yeah.
Last year, State Senator-elect Claire Valdez volunteered. A lot of people in the neighborhood volunteered. It's really like a fabulous, if you're not like super busy on Thanksgiving Day, just come and volunteer. It's really fun.
My volunteering might be much older father. His name out.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, everyone is welcome.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you.
That's it for the elected officials. So before we get to city planning, we'll do public comment. Fran Casso? Fran Casso? I think I saw you online. Fran C? Yep. There you go, okay.
Hello?
You have two. Yep,
Hello?
we can, yep, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Okay, how are you doing, everyone? Okay, I'm here to talk about the fiasco that happened on Sunday regarding this new bus change. A lot of bus stops. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so Sunday was the first day of the bus changes, and a lot of the stops, like on 58th Street and Roosevelt Avenue, that was restored, still has the old sign that says the bus will not stop here. We had a very hard time trying to convince the bus driver to let us get off, and because they restored the stop. There's a lot of confusion about where we get the bus stops that are they're supposed to be on Roosevelt and 52nd Street. There is no sign there. And Sunday, when I came back from church, I had to go out to 48th Street and Queens Boulevard because the bus driver kept continuing going on Roosevelt Avenue because the 51st Street bus stop is eliminated, and he didn't want me to drop off there. So where is the MTA in helping us to coordinate where we get off and what new bus stop? Because there's a lot of construction going on 53rd Street, 54th Street, 52nd Street. We don't know where to get the buses. My bus stop on 53rd Street has been eliminated, but they're still picking up passengers. So I'm assuming they restored that. Nobody knows what they're doing.
Yeah, they haven't gotten back to us.
Thank you, Fran. We have spoken to the MTA about this, or we've asked them about it, but they haven't gotten back to us about it. Yeah. So we'll be on it. Thank you for bringing that up.
Also, okay,
yeah.
also, can I say something about the Omni card? What's happened also about the Omni card? Okay, can I speak about it?
Yes.
Okay, what? The Omni card is charging free transfers, and I'm getting charged for another bus fare. On Thursday, I took the Q32 to 58th Street to try to get to the Q18. And with the Omni card, you just tap on the screen. It doesn't give you any information as to how many, what's being deducted. It just says go. But they're also charging you for a new fare. And I found this out on Saturday when I checked my balance, and I had less than what it was supposed to be on. I don't know if a lot of people in the area or who is using the Omni card is aware that this is happening. And when I called up the Omni customer service,
Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, well, I think we about that as well. So thank you for bringing that up. Oh, sorry, Mercedes, please.
Sorry, I usually don't interject when constituents speak, but this is important. It is addressing the OmniCard situation. Just really quick, the MTA did in fact change the system when before people would use their Metro card for one fare, and then the next fare would be an automatic transfer. They changed it like as if it's an unlimited system where if you pay $34, you pay for every single ride, and then if you use up $34 before Sunday, the remaining fares up until that Sunday at midnight is free. So that's why it's doing that now. A lot of people don't like it, but we are asking constituents to let us know so we can let the MTA know, like, if that system's working better, but they did in fact change it. I just wanted to make that comment that that is exactly what is happening.
Thanks, Mercedes. We appreciate that. All right, we'll move on to Richard. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. You have a question? Kenny, can you pass the mic back, please, to Corey? Is the question to Mercedes? Okay.
Oh, there's a question for me. I'm sorry. I don't mean to come on off. Is there a question for me?
Okay, yeah, what's the question? I'll repeat.
All right, so just to confirm, you're saying that the MTA is eliminating free transfers on buses, because that's news.
Mercedes, is the MTA eliminating free transfers on?
I know what he's asking. When we tried to ask the MTA several times about this, they said that they change how the transfer system works. So that's how they answered it to us. So in the way it looks, the way that it goes is, let's say you take the 10, let's say you take the 32, transfer to the 60. You do pay $290 twice because you're paying $34. The idea is that you put $34 on the Omni card for the week, and you're going to use up 12 rides, and by the 12 after the 12th ride, the rest of the rides are free. But not everybody uses 12 rides a week, so that's the issue. A lot of people are like, well, I don't always ride the bus or trains that many times to benefit from the $34. So that's a big issue. That's what they're doing in the change of the Omni card. So we've heard a couple of constituents complain to our office about that. So I just wanted to let the constituent that just spoke know, as well as everybody else in CB2, that that is a change that's actually happened with the Omni card. Does that answer your question? I hope I answered it clearly.
Yeah, it does. If that's true, it's extremely concerning. I understand, you know, the capping, but I literally work for a transportation advocacy org, so if that's the case, it's a big deal. It's like,
Yeah, it's a pretty big surprise.
Yeah, I understand, because I use public transportation all the time, so I definitely understand. So if you're finding that's an issue or other constituents are, please feel free to let them know, to let our office know, because we are keeping tabs on that. That's part of the whole us looking after the redesign in Queens, so that it's, you know, there's a smooth transition and everything is done like equitably for all our constituents.
But you know, I'm looking at the website right now, which says benefits of Omni include free transfer, use the same card.
Can the person use the microphone?
It doesn't work. It's not working.
Yeah,
The website says it.
the website, the Omni website still says there's free transfers, so yeah.
I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Camille, you have a question?
Thank you. Just wanted to follow up on what Mercedes just said. That's not on the Omni card. That's not what's reflected on the website.
Yeah, I know.
Not fair to constituents, and I think that's a huge issue for people in Queens who live in two fare zones. Thank you.
Agreed. So that's why we're asking for people to bring that to our office's attention. So because we've been meeting with the MTA about that.
And I'm assuming this isn't just bus to bus, but also subway to bus, which
Yes.
many people's need to get anywhere that live further out in Queens beyond the Staten train. So, you know, that's a huge change. Yeah.
I agree 100%. I just wanted, part of what, you know, and I know the senator is big about this, is always trying to be transparent and letting people know like changes that have happened. So a lot of people have bringing it to our attention. When our office met with MTA, that's what they said. And we're kind of like, I don't think people understand that. And I don't think that that's equitable, because, you know, a lot of people rely on that transfer because not everybody uses $34 a week.
One doctor's appointment a week, and you're screwing people on the two fares.
Right. I understand. So I know our office will definitely keep tabs on this, and just please, the more constituents we have, like very much with the Q32 stops and the Q60 stops, like keep letting us know. I'm sorry, I don't mean to take up extra time, but I just want to be thorough and supportive. But if, you know, please let our office know so that we can continue to advocate.
I think we'll definitely do that. Thank you, Mercedes. All right, next up, Richard Sowell. Kind of online. We'll come back to you. Jennifer, yeah. Then Barry, then Tom. You have about 2 minutes.
Okay. Hi, my name is Jennifer, and I'm a volunteer for Transportation Alternatives. And I'm here tonight we're handing out some information, but we're launching a campaign revolved around Sunnyside and Woodside and creating some of the existing bike lanes, making them a few of the trouble areas, making them protected bike lanes. So you working within the existing bike infrastructure, but making the lanes more protected. So we're going to have a ride for the start of our campaign. That's going to be on September 14th from 11 to 2. And we're handing out flyers to give you some more information on it. But it's going to start at Thomas Noonan Playground. And then we're going to have a ride along some of the areas that would be affected and point them out and say, just point out some of the interests of why they're not safe, and then at the have a picnic free food, so you can come for that too. And then we'll talk to some of the items on our campaign, the trouble spots that we will be highlighting. So Maya's handing out some brochures. There's a QR code, and that's going to give you the points of interest that we're concerned about that are least protected within Sunnyside. This ride is focused on Sunnyside specifically, but the campaign is for Sunnyside and Woodside. But the QR code will give you more information about those particular points and then about the ride itself. Any questions? Okay. Thank you, guys. So you'll have all the information. Also, if you're online, it's going to end in Luladadi Park. So that's where we'll have a picnic at the end, and we'll have some speakers to talk to. And then also the email, if you need more information, is queens@transalt.org. Thank you.
Thank you. Barry, yeah, and then Mr. Bertuzis.
Well, thank you. My name is Barry Druss, and I'm a transportation advocate, and I'd like to discuss two issues. One is the need for BRT operations in our area, and two is a future rail operation through Penn Station and potentially Sunnyside Station. We have a larger population. We've got planning for 14,700 new apartments. The neighborhoods around us have more apartments being built. The city itself is building 130,000 new apartments, and the demand on our transportation system is skyrocketing. We need mass transit now, not 20 years from now. And the only choice we have is bus rapid transit, and a BRT operation is what we need. And going into the city, it's important because they're building 30 new buildings, higher than ever before. An example is JP Morgan Chase, which has 14,000 people. Union Carbide, which was the previous building, had a 3,000 capacity. That's 11,000 more people on that property. If you extrapolate it over the whole Midtown area, you're talking about hundreds of thousands more people working in Manhattan. That's going to put a heavy burden on our transportation system, and we need to change our system. And BRT operation with a dedicated route, like they did on the Midtown 34th Street right of way, is what we need. And I suggest we use Queens Boulevard as a starting point and create a BRT operation that goes into the Midtown Tunnel and down 34th Street. And this would be a faster operation on a dedicated route. We'd have to get rid of the bike lane because we can't have two lanes of car traffic because trucks stop on Queens Boulevard and unload and cause a traffic jam. One lane is just not enough for the traffic that builds up there. So unfortunately, we can't afford to use a bike lane that doesn't get enough traffic. We need capacity going into the city. So that's a proposal. Also, if you look at let's see, if you look at the C5 bus, Copenhagen, Denmark, on YouTube, you'll find an example of a bigger bus that's being used for BRT. That's important.
Thanks, Barry. That was kind.
The other thing is the rail issue, and that is because they're redesigning Penn Station, and we need a better operation over there. And I would suggest a skip stop operation with a future Sunnyside station. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Nope.
No?
Thank you.
Oh.
Tom. So Tom, not away from board, go back very low, and you find a way to go back.
Thank you. Tom Machusis with the Blissville Civic Association. And first and foremost, thank you to this board for your ongoing support for Blissville, and a call out to our council member and assembly member for their support with our plight with green asphalt. I'm here today regarding a matter that Community Board 2 was instrumental in having occur for us, which was a visit by DEP 9 months ago. And 9 months ago, with much fanfare, we had descend upon us about a dozen people from DEP, members of Councilmember Wan's office, and our representative Velasquez. They assured us we would have an update in April. April came and went. We did get an email asking for the addresses of the homes and businesses that had the severe sewer backflows. We provided that information and again fell silent. We wrote again back in August, silent. Probably worse that you make an offer and then don't keep your commitment. And that's what is once again come before the community board asking for your assistance and calling upon DEP to hold themselves to their word. They came for a visit. They spent 3 hours touring the neighborhood. Community members were excited. And I tell you, very disappointed now. 9 months later, we still have heard nothing. So please, community board, if you could again follow up for us, we would appreciate it. Thank you very much. Lisa. Yes.
So what's going on with flagpole?
So the flagpole continues.
Repeat the question.
Oh, the question was, what's going on with the Blissville Veterans Memorial? So it is under construction. They have a year to get the construction done. We're now at the 5-month mark. They wanted to know if they got a new supervisor. I am out there each and every day saying, what are we doing? What about this? What about that? They encountered a slight hiccup in that, which was no surprise to me, that they have to do some fancy stuff with the soil because it's a little contaminated. So they have a delay with that because of the contamination, but it's ongoing. It will not be here for Veterans Day, I'll tell you that. Although we will be out there with our flags. But you're sure, Lisa, you and the board will have the first invitation to the ribbon cut. Yes. Any other questions? Thank you again, and thank you for the follow-up with DEP. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tom. Father Adair and then McNine.
Now.
Good evening, everybody.
Onto yourself. Please. My name is Father Carl Adair. I'm from the Episcopal Mission in Sunnyside. Many of you have walked past All Saints Episcopal Church on 46th Street, just north of Queens Boulevard. Many of you know that beautiful church was founded in 1928 and was closed in 2020, right before the pandemic started. When my wife and I moved to the neighborhood about 4 years ago, and then had our daughter Judy about 9 months later. Funny about what happens when you have a larger apartment. I just felt, even though I was working at a church in Eastern Queens, I felt really drawn to discern what the calling of the Episcopal Mission, learn more about what people were yearning for in spiritual community in these tumultuous times. And so I began to ask people, having coffee with some of the people in this room and many others. And for the last year, we've been running a bunch of experiments to learn more about what our hearts are hungry for here in this beautiful, diverse neighborhood. And what emerged from those conversations and still emerging is a desire for a community that's not centered on a checklist of beliefs, but rather liberating and life-giving practices, and a desire for a community of people that will come around us as we heal and grow and go through the tough stuff of everyday life. So I'm pleased to announce that we are going to be reopening, beginning Sunday services every week again at All Saints. We're calling this the Episcopal Mission in Sunnyside as we discern what we're called to become. I want to invite everybody to our big public launch, which will be, it's an unfortunate conflict with the ride from Transportation Alternatives, which sounds awesome, but it's also September 14th. We're meeting at 10, so you can come first. We'll also have a picnic, then pick up the ride, and then another picnic. But in the time that I have here, I just, in addition to inviting everybody to the launch, what I really want to say is that the mission in the Episcopal Mission in Sunnyside is that the whole world would know that things which have been cast down are being raised up, and things which have grown old are being made new. And we really want to partner with anybody in this amazing, diverse neighborhood who cares about things that have been cast down being raised up, and things which have grown old being made new. So I'm here on this group of leaders for your feedback about how a native, progressive, humble Christian community could join with all the amazing things that's already happening. I'd be happy to talk about that right now, or I'll be at the back. Thank you.
Thanks so much. All right, Nick.
Like you pronounce the last name. Hey, everybody, I'm Nick. I'm here to try and help you. How can I help you? I know a lot about flooding. I've been through a lot of flooding myself. Tom just mentioned what he went through with his sewer backups. Have you noticed there's been flooding more lately? Like in the last couple of years? And September and October are when we've had the worst storms. Ida just had one weeks ago that didn't even have a name. It was still bad. We want to help people with flooding. I went through it myself personally, like Tom has. It's very expensive and painful. You feel very lonely. You feel very stupid because you feel like, how did I let this happen? And you look at everything from insurance to plumbers to gardeners to masons to products like sump pumps and wetbacks. I can tell you that a bucket and a wetback is not a flooding strategy. I tried it. But in trying to figure out what I could do, I had to talk to all these people, and I got overwhelmed with hundreds of websites sort of saying the same things. So I tried to distill it down into a website called the City Sponge, citysponge.com. And we're doing this event in this space on September 13th, where we're bringing all the experts that I have found around the city who do the frontline work of flood work to this room. The plumber, the mason, the insurance, the real estate lawyer, the DEPs coming, the New York City Emergency Management, the people who help you find money for flood mitigation. All those people often are separate conversations. We're going to bring them all right here and let people just compare notes. So that's the Flood Solutions Fair. If you need more info on it, there's a flyer, or go to thecitysponge.com. I really appreciate you giving me time. Flooding connects all of us, especially small businesses. There's 31,000 renters in sub-basement apartments in central Queens, 749 buildings at risk just in Sunnyside. So it's kind of universal. No matter how you vote, you don't want your stuff wet. It connects us. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank
Like I say, for public comment, anybody else? No? All right, so, our parliamentarian, corrects me that the bylaws say votes can only be, I'm gonna say votes are, effective after attendance. So let's take attendance, then city planning. So, Ryan, oh, and Ryan, one update on the OmniCard thing that you saw online. Why don't you, update on that and take attendance?
Yeah, so quick update before we get to attendance. I was just doing a little searching online while Mercedes and others were discussing things. The situation with the Omni card, it looks like the current fare structure and the new rolling 7-day fare policy with the Omni card, where it adds up rather than giving the transfers, is slated to, if I understood the website correctly, slated to become permanent in January of 2026. And the comment period on this is closing September 14th. And so if you go on mta.info, there's a link that says something about 2025 proposed fare changes. And if you click on that, it has a bunch of contact information. The hearings are all in the past, but there's still a way to submit written comments. So that's useful. It's online.
Can you clarify, were you able to clarify if there are no more free transfers?
It doesn't say anything about free transfers on what they're proposing, but it does say if they're making the 7-day rolling cap permanent.
But still, that's not.
It doesn't say anything about the free transfers. No. Yeah. Yep. All right. Amparo Abu Bay. All right. Nelly Afshar. Anatol Ashraf.
Present.
John Bahia. Absent. Carisha Baton. Absent. Nick Berkowitz.
Present.
Danielle Rucker. Carlos Castelcroce.
Here.
Evelyn Shango. Lisa Charles. Tanya Chavez.
Present online.
All right, thanks. Osman Chowdhury. Steve Cooper.
Present.
Warren Davis.
Here.
Lisa Deller.
Here.
Maura Gallinoy. Excused. Dr. Ross Janitsos.
Here.
Alexander Gonzalez.
Present online.
Okay, thank you. Camille Gray.
Here online.
All right, thank you. Kenny Greenberg.
Here.
Corey Hannigan.
Here.
Mohammed Hostin.
Present.
Right. Christine Hunter.
Here.
Right. James Kim. Excused. All right. Primi Kumar.
Here.
Chimang Lama. Absent. Bradford Glavin.
Present.
Sheila Lewandowski. Benjamin Lucas. Patrick Martinez.
Here.
Eric Narberg.
Present.
Andy Olivares. Absent. Riley Owens.
Here.
Jolly Patel.
Here virtually.
Right. Randy Plumell.
Present virtually.
Pia Rahman. Hughes. Maya Saab.
Present online.
Okay, thanks. Roberto Saldana. Okay. Excused. Alyssa Sawicki.
Present online.
All right, thank you. Fugelhausen Sherpa.
Present online.
Ryan Smith, that's me, I'm here. Lauren Springer.
Yeah.
Akello Thomas.
Evening. I'm here.
Amaris Valdez.
Here.
Alana Van Sluten. Letitia Vasquez. And Michael Zurab.
Here.
All right, great. We have a quorum.
We have a quorum in person.
We
Yes.
do, yes.
Yeah. City planning.
All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome back from summer break. It's really great to see everybody again. I'm Katie Crawford from the Department of City Planning, and I have a few brief updates for you all. So the first is on the One LAC Neighborhood Plan. As Ferris said, the plan reached its second to last ULURP milestone just yesterday. The CPC voted in favor of the plan and will be moving on to the City Council for review. Also, over summer break, a rezoning application was certified for the property at 6312 Broadway. The applicant will be at this month's Land Use Committee meeting to present on the project and answer any questions that you have. Thank you.
Lisa?
Yeah.
Mike?
Yeah, we continue to talk about parcel B and parcel D. I know it's HPD's, item, but do you have any further information about that?
I don't, like you said, that is HPD's, so I'm not involved in that
Do
directly.
you talk to HPD about the potential for, having a park in parcel D and including it with parcel E?
I personally have not been involved in any conversations on parks or either of those two properties, but I can definitely make a note of it and get back to you guys.
Thank you.
Jimmy?
Hey there. On the One LIC initiative, we've heard from the council members team that they're doing these negotiations. I'm curious, just procedurally, let's say these negotiations happen, things change. What the outcome of that is different from what we started out in. What happens in terms of ULURP with this newly negotiated plan?
I think that would also be better discussed at the land use committee meeting. We can provide more color on that then. But I think that it might be useful to kind of look to CHO, City of Yes for Housing Opportunities, sort of an example of how the changes might be made. So when it went through the City Planning Commission, there were a few modifications made to the proposal. And then at the council level, there were additional modifications made to the proposal. So there are opportunities for things to change between now and then. Exactly like how and what will be just dependent on the negotiations and all the conversations that are
There's
ongoing.
no scenario in which we have to go back through the process for all the previous rounds.
I do not believe that would be the case, but we'll definitely clarify the land use committee.
And I haven't seen any coverage of this in the coverage of the city planning commission vote. Were there any modifications made to any of the land use actions in that city council vote?
There weren't any modifications made to like the actions themselves, so the actions that we presented are still in play. I know there were some small changes to the proposed text amendments. They were mostly cleanups, things that we had caught after they were published. And so I can walk through those at the land use committee as well, but they're all pretty minor. And those were also presented this past Tuesday to the CPC. If you want to go ahead and watch that video, that's on YouTube.
Thank you.
Ryder? Listen behind you.
Thank you. Hi, Katie. Question I had from a member earlier was about the streets plan. Throughout this entire process, we hadn't really seen anything from DOT for this area, and throughout, we heard that maybe you guys were in conversation with DOT about something. Has anything developed? Is there anything that can be presented to us before the final vote? And if there is anything being developed, can it please be presented?
Yeah, those conversations are definitely still ongoing between DOT, like this stuff all gets wrapped up in the negotiations we keep referring to. So there's nothing final, there's nothing to be presented at this point, but I can definitely circle back and see if there is an opportunity to present to the transportation committee, if we can accommodate that.
Yeah, and if anything is changing in anticipation of the rezoning, we'd love to see it. Thank you.
Oh, Yeah. Ask Katie and Katie will get the question.
Okay, cool. Hey, oh, there you go. Yeah, I wanted to ask you about something, it's probably a little bit, I know that there's an NYC industrial plan, some kind of IT-related study. And I was just wondering if you could give us an update on that. From what I could see publicly, there was supposed to be a draft report in mid-2025. I couldn't find one, that doesn't necessarily mean I just couldn't find it. So I'm curious, yeah, maybe you could give us an update on what, where that is and yeah, anything on that.
Yeah, for sure. So the industrial plan is in process. You're correct. A draft should be released relatively soon. I know that it is not quite ready to go quite yet, but we should be expecting that I don't know, within the next couple of months or so. But I can definitely keep you guys updated on that as well. Actually, I just remembered there is going to be a public information session. I believe that's scheduled for late October. So I can also make sure I get all the information to you all so you can register to participate and keep updating you on that. All right, thank you so much.
And that's why Sigmund kind of goes before me. Because that's what the more important things are. All right, chair's report. Happy summer. It went by way too fast, I think. I went back to where I came from, which was Paris, for my vacation. And in the south of France, I saw the Who last Saturday, but I did not see Oasis. Yeah, so what have we been up to? It's been a busy summer, relatively. Something related to one and everything. We did take an executive action on behalf of the board. Early August, we had these executive committee meeting. We're joined by our land use chairs, and it was and we wrote a letter to council number 1 in support for developer community commitments in the One LIC plan. We received some fairly, I guess, hardball thoughts and requirements and commitments from the council member, which overall track and line up with what we requested, with our conditions. Specifically, overall, we support, the letter says that we support her efforts in trying to hold developers accountable and get more benefits for the community. Specifically, deliver critical educational infrastructure by committing space for a new public school, for high school seats to meet growing demand, expand and maintain public open space by activating publicly owned land, provide meaningful community facilities by setting aside space for nonprofit organizations at little to no cost, with partnerships formalized through givers, and deepen housing affordability commitments by going beyond minimum requirements of MIH and increasing the share of permanently affordable homes. So that should be getting to the council member's office, and of course we'll share it with the full board. Especially with the timing, given the feeling that the city council stage is when we get the most work done and this plan takes shape, I think the timing works out. So, is personally, but that's how we, I guess this is another step, another way of backing and getting what we need from this plan. We'll also, so this year, this year, city bylaws, this year, okay. Not this calendar. Not this calendar, yeah. Yeah, this September through April, we'll get started on bylaws review committee. Sheila, I think you back again for that, because we're meant to update our bylaws every 4 years based on our bylaws. So we'll get that started. I'll get that assigned. And personally, I'm hoping between that and the digital process doctrine, which I've been talking about for 2 years now, that is my lasting legacy when hopefully I pass the baton in December 2026, if you all will let me. And overall, there are huge changes potentially coming to the role of community boards overall, based on the charter revisions and everything like that. Good and bad, as with all things. And with one LIC mostly done, I want to refocus on the core principles I've been yapping about since 2020, which is accessibility, accountability, transparency, visibility, and engagement. You know, that goes with all the processes and things like that, all the internal stuff. As we said earlier, September 17th is the next testimony for one LIC. Remember, we voted for this 37-7. So I really hope that at least 15 to 20 of us can be online or at person or in person, you know, advocating for what we advocated for, because now is the time to make it in. We don't know if, you know, nothing's taken shape yet, right? So now is the time to do that. So on September 17th, let's do that. I'll send out a form, a Google form, so, you know, we're all locked in, as many of us as possible, for that day. And we will be doing a second over performance review, just, you know, just procedurally. Good thing that we're doing that. And and I'll pass it to Michael Zero for updates. Sorry? Whoops. All right. I'm going over you guys. Over the map. Before I pass it to Michael, attendance, approval of the minutes. So did everybody get June 5th and June 17th minutes? So move. I second Sheila's motion to approve the minutes.
We can't approve them. Yeah, approve them. So it's not everyone was that vote.
All right, so June 17th minutes first, because I think that was approved earlier. June 18th, sorry, June 18th minutes. All in favor? Any abstentions? Two abstentions. Any opposed? All right. June 5th. Motion to approve the June 5th minutes. I'll second Sheila's motion for that too. All in favor? Abstentions? Two abstentions? And any opposed? All right. Now we're going to go for an update on the treasurer and on the budget process.
Thanks, Anatole. Hey, everybody. So we had an exciting summer working on the statement of needs stuff. So in just to kind of give you all a recap on what happened and where we are in the process. Towards the end of June, on June 25th, I think the day after Election Day, we started circulating a survey to people who live or work or otherwise have a connection in our community district to answer questions about the top pressing issues and top policy areas. The survey sort of tailors our statement of needs submission, so we can use the responses to, you know, identify the needs that we're going to highlight in our statement. So we did that. It was circulated pretty broadly, digitally and through community groups. So thanks to Debbie and to many of you for your help in that. We got 316 responses in 2025, which
10x,
which was about 10x what we got last year. So I think that's pretty good. And I think, yeah, I mean, I think we can always do better, and we can be more systematic. I'd love to work closely with the engagement community
and everyone over there.
Over there going forward, but like, you know, we did well. So just to I believe there was an email circulated with like a full summary that all of you should have gotten of all the, you know, different questions and some of the breakdowns and so on. So there's more details, but just to let you know, and perhaps not so surprising, the top 3 pressing issues, affordable housing by far was the top issue. I think from looking at the comments, there's this kind of interesting thing that we all agree this is the biggest issue by far. We don't agree on what to do about it. Like, in the sense that there's a kind of mixture of folks who say we need to build a lot more housing and folks who say, you know, the housing built hasn't been meeting community needs. So we agree on the problem. We have a lot of conflicting opinions, I think, on what to do. Parks and open space also was a very, very, very commonly selected issue, is the second most commonly selected issue. I think there was one comment that really resonated with me, because in this situation, it was like, it would be nice if there was a park within a mile walking distance of the 11104 zip code. And I think that's, yeah, I mean, I think for many of us in the district, it's pretty clear that there's not a lot of open space, and compared to other parts of New York City, we don't have a lot of open space. And then land use trends was the third most common, although it was a little further down than parks and open space. And here again, I think there's actually like a range of opinions represented when people were saying land use trends. Some was like, you know, Northern Boulevard is like not well utilized space. Some of it was like, you know, development has occurred and infrastructure investments have not. And there's like broader, you know, just broad concerns about neighborhood stability and preservation and so on. So there's like a whole bundle of things that fell under that land use trends umbrella in the comments. But those are like, yeah, it's a high level. We had 3 meetings. Thanks so much to many folks for showing up in those meetings in August. We'll have another meeting in a couple of weeks in just to kind of revisit where we're at in terms of the narrative. Thank you to many of you for drafting sections of the statement of needs. And I'm looking forward to continuing to work with you as we sort of finish drafting it. So we'd love to touch base on that. And then also for the month of September, I will really need to work closely with the committee chairs and through them with the committees to, you know, develop our list of submissions, basically. So look for an email. We'll need, you know, committee chairs to sort of signal their what they would like to see in our statement of needs. And as I've shared before, I've have like a rubric where we can kind of compare the submissions against the top issues identified in the survey and try to get a ranking that way. So we'll do that. But yeah, really excited by all the partnership and engagement from you all so far, and looking forward to continuing to do that as we conclude this process. So there's going to be a meeting in September, and then in October where we'll talk about ties, basically, when we do get all the budget submissions and refine a final list. And then first, our meeting in November is when we'll vote to approve the statement of needs budget request and so on. So that's the timeline. If you have any questions, feel free to ask now or after. Lisa.
Yeah, on your write-up, it was great about.
Mike, who is that? Yeah.
Hi.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
Jennifer. Oh, on your write-up about the survey, that was great. On the last item says specific budget request.
Yeah.
I know there was a specific budget request from Sunnyside Community Services, and you have a laundry list of community not-for-profits, Sunnyside Shines, Woodside on the Move, Sunnyside Woodside Mutual Aid, but Sunnyside Community Services isn't listed.
I see.
I think, are you missing their request?
No, they definitely submitted a request. Like, I know for a fact they did. So I must have just made a mistake when I was looking through all the requests and putting, I tried to at the end, so just as context for everyone, at the very end of that document, I tried to pull out all the very concrete requests that were made in open-ended submissions in the survey, because the last question was do you have any specific requests you want to include? So I pulled out probably 20, but it seems I must have missed a specific organization, which is Sunnyside Community Services, which is totally just an error on my part.
But it will be in the final submission, right?
Yeah, I'll also ask that, the Health and Human Services Committee, who will, the needs of seniors and needs of low-income folks is sort of in their purview. I think I can kind of look to them to make the submission, but certainly, yeah, I would expect us to make a request.
about that.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks.
Thank you. You need a new information. Debbie, over to you.
Sorry.
Okay.
Welcome back, everybody. We've been hard at work all summer, but I hope everybody had a good summer and had some more time off. So thank you. Thank you for calling in your complaints and to the staff who always works very hard. I'd like to just observe a moment of silence for 9/11 that's coming up. I know a lot of people in this community did perish, and I want to pay our respects to all the 9/11 survivors and people who perished. So give us a moment of silence. Thank you. I want to thank our outgoing members who served our community and are not returning: Anne-Marie Bronowski, Diana Kitchler, and Caroline Spitzer. They served this community board well, and we're sorry to see them go. With that, I want to note, we finally got them. Raj, you get your, I don't know if you got them already, but we certainly got all of our composting stickers. We brought some tonight. Anybody want them? Come after the meeting. We have them for you. Feel free if you need more. We have them in the office as well. The other thing that so we brought some things. You asked, we try to deliver everything that you ask. We also have community board 2 pins. We did a restock and a reorder, but we made them a little nicer. And I hope everybody will be proud to wear them. And the first pin goes to our chairman. You have bags here, so also come on up after the meeting if you'd like one, or come to the office, or when you come to your meetings, you're more than welcome. I also attended the Q team meeting for the NYPD. That's the quality of life team that they just rolled out in Queens on August 11th. And they will address quality of life issues. There was a meeting here at Sunnyside to meet some of them. I don't know if anybody attended. The 108 Precinct Council had their national night out over the summer. CB2, I understand, was well represented. There were plenty of people there. So I want to mention that. Sanitation has a safe disposal event in Queens, October 18th at Resource World. So I want to make sure that everybody was aware. We had 69 complaints. The top complaints were PD, legally parked cars, sidewalks and blocked sidewalks, and a lot of that. Potholes, DOT was number 2, potholes, pedestrian walkways, DOS, trash, illegal dumping, and clogged basins at DEP. So we had a lot of different varying complaints. Some of them are the same and duplicates. So we had more than 69, but those are the initial. So we welcome our school children to have a happy and safe school year. And we look forward, all who celebrate Rosh Hashanah, happy, healthy. And our next meeting is Thursday, October 9th.
Media reports. If you have something to report. Right.
On Tuesday, 2 days ago, and we had one presentation from Open Plans, an organization that comes up with solutions to problems or stuff like that. Their presentation was on low traffic neighborhoods, and it demonstrated how small changes to the direction of streets or turning a street into a plaza can reduce cut-through traffic in the neighborhood drastically, and a lot of traffic through our neighborhoods is cut-through traffic. So it's very interesting to see. It's something that we experience organically on the 39th Avenue Black Boulevard, which we car traffic turn off, which we can also reduce the traffic in that neighborhood. So it was cool to see the actual statistics and studies, for low traffic neighborhood. We got updates from the DOT that the review avenue safety, improvement project that we call Blissful Greenway. The first part of it is pretty much complete. I think there's one more corner that needs concrete. There might be some more Jersey barriers coming in, but it's there and it's ready for riding or running or walking on. It's marathon training season, so it's a really nice place to train for the marathon. It's there. I had sent letters to the DOT over the summer about the Queensboro Bridge markings on the north side of the bike lanes, which are still marked with pedestrian symbols in the bike lane, which causes confusion and conflict between pedestrians who find themselves there and cyclists who are in the same lane. That stuff is just being delayed by the project at the base of the bridge to build a crosswalk across the base of the bridge where Crescent Street, 27th Street is. So once all of that stuff gets completed, hopefully the markings will be updated. We implored DOT to speed that up, and they said they'll do their best. Woodside Avenue in our district is getting repaved a lot. Our committee has asked that Woodside Avenue and 39th Avenue, the whole area there where there are two parts of 39th Avenue, see some safety improvements because there's a lot of very wide crosswalk or very long crosswalks, and the area is in the middle of a lot of elementary schools and parks. It's a great opportunity to improve that area and do the safety improvements we've asked for. So we're hoping that DOT does that. That may be too quick a project to complete, but hopefully so. We got a letter from DOT, this is my final thing, about Hunters Point South, which was an issue. Oops, I lost it. About parking at Hunters Point South, Center Boulevard, 2nd Street, 57th Avenue, that whole area. There are lane markings going in for parking lanes on both sides of Center Boulevard. Formalizing curbside parking on both sides of Center Boulevard from 57th Avenue to Gordon Avenue. So here will also be added on 2nd Street from 54th Avenue to 57th Avenue, as well as 57th Avenue from 2nd Street to Center Boulevard. Meaning that there's a whole lot of confusion and a lot of problems with trucks trying to make a very tight corner. Agency is also aiming to install plastic bollards at the beginning of the curb on Center Boulevard at 57th Avenue. This will help deter illegal parking, which has been observed to block safe clearance and turns for vehicles, as well as contribute to congestion. There were problems with the Q101 bus stop there because of this. So hopefully this is all getting improved. And that's the result.
Riley, in the meantime, come up here, so then you can share mics.
Not on the committee, so. Something that had been discussed a lot back when I was on the committee, is the intersection where the Queensbridge Tunnel. You come out of the Queensbridge Tunnel and you can make a right or left onto Gordon Avenue. Way back when, before they had done development, some of the development in Hunters Point South, part you were just talking about, the concern was that the increased traffic, including truck traffic, which there is, there's a lot more. And yet there's no, like I walk over there a lot and there's no intersection. There needs to be some kind of controlled intersection at where the traffic comes out of the Queensbridge Tunnel can turn on to Gordon, but also, so the traffic that's coming from, not on Gordon, but I forget what the other street is, that's 50, whatever it is that comes up from Center Boulevard or from 5th Street. You know that they I can show you on a map, but there needs to be some kind of controlled intersection because there's a lot of truck traffic there. There's the veterans, residents there. There's more businesses there like iFly. So there's a lot more pedestrian, cyclists, and industrial traffic at that location and vehicular traffic. And, so it really needs some support.
Sure, yeah, I'll look into it. I wonder if it is part of the second part of the.
That's all.
In a railroad. I wonder if it's part of the second part of the Blissful Greenway project, that area.
We discussed needing some kind of controlled intersection there for a long time. And also to be passing lanes for cars that go into the LIE or so that the cars don't back up down Gordon, the trucks don't, we do still have industrial businesses now.
Yeah.
So it was discussed as part of, going back 50 years ago again, there was a whole transportation redesign for all of that area, which included the Burnham Mall. That's all like, a lot of it's not been followed up on. So, but that's getting worse and worse with more foot, especially with more foot traffic around the exit for the tunnel and the entrance to the LIE. So, to bring it up with DOT, that they need to revisit that. As far as I know, I mean, maybe it became part of this greenway, but it wasn't then part, as we were advocating for both of those things.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll look at it, and I'll talk to DOT about it.
Thank you.
Quick, fine, yeah.
This is quick. Are they giving you any date of completion for the Crescent block pass through? They were working on it really well, and then it happened.
Yeah, our rep Joe, doesn't have solid dates, but he sees it happening. It's definitely a project that's in the middle of being worked on. It's an elaborate project because they have to tear down a lot of concrete and rebuild. From what I heard from him, it sounds like it's moving forward and is this season, but I don't have a firm date. Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, but I will say firmly that they are anticipating the marathon and things should be done by the marathon.
Because I was thinking after it. Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Okay, great. Yeah.
We had a technical glitch during the transportation meeting, so I wasn't able to say this in the committee to Joe, but, this last month, it seems like like 1 in every 3 streets in Sunnyside was milled, and left like that for about a month. It's annoying to everyone, right? But it's actually a real safety issue for pedestrians and cyclists because it eliminates all of the painted infrastructure, right? So the crosswalks are gone, bike lanes are gone, the city bike docks are gone. We're talking 47th Avenue, 43rd Avenue, 43rd Street, Woodside Avenue, like major corridors for people walking and biking have been kind of just left, completely depaved. And now they're just getting paved, but now we have to wait for the striping to go back in. I've heard multiple friends of mine also complain about this, there has to be something that can be done to align these schedules. This is like an annual process. There's no reason that these streets should be left like this for a month at a time. So I don't know if we can, formally complain to DOT or, ask them to do something about this, but I mean, it actually is a safety concern. As someone who, cycles around the neighborhood as a primary mode of transportation, it's a concern.
Sure, yeah, we did bring up that concern. The answer from DOT was that there are multiple agencies involved and sometimes you're waiting for things to happen. When a road gets milled, it's an opportunity to do utility work, and if there's other agencies that are doing that work, they have to come in before it could be repaved. A lot of the work in our neighborhood in Sunnyside is Con Edison. So they're really doing a lot of tearing up of the streets, but it's also coinciding with a lot of remilling, which is, improves the streets for everyone, but I'm with you, all the crosswalks have disappeared. So we did ask that things move a lot quicker, and maybe we'll send an official letter saying the same.
Gotta go away, so gonna travel.
Thank you, Riley. I brought this up to you last year and never followed through on coming to a meeting about it, but it's come to my attention that the Bay Ridge ferry stop has a couple of ferries in the morning that go straight to Wall Street and skip all of the intermediate stops. I was wondering if that's a similar thing that could happen from Long Island City. It does take an awfully long time to get to Lower Manhattan on the ferry.
Sure, yeah. I haven't had an opportunity to ask anybody about that, but I will put it on my schedule.
Let me know which transportation committee needed to come to react to.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Debbie cooking me, right? Did it?
Is that all for transportation? All right, thank you very much.
What? Is your yeah. For Health and Human Services. No.
So our last meeting was in June, and at that meeting, we had mental health, providers of Western Queens come and present about their services, plus they were also seeking a letter of support because they were co-locating, going to relocate their, preventive services, which are in Jackson Heights and Lower Jackson Heights, to their, location in Woodside, and to where they have the recovery program. So we, made a motion to do that, and we did follow through and, submitted a letter of support for that. One of the other exciting things that happened in June is that some of the members of our committee, so I'm part of me, and then public member Andrea Thomas is also with Sunnyside Community Services, and Tyler from Engagement and Inclusion. We got to do a tour of Aviation High School, conducted by the principal, Stephen Jackson, who had been at our, and also Parent Representative Sean McGowan. Mr. Jackson had presented at an earlier, HSC committee meeting. And when they were seeking, they're trying to raise money for the test cell engine powered classroom. So we got to tour the school, meet students, and it's exciting. It was so exciting. And it's interesting because Andrea described this as like a hidden gem in Sunnyside, and she's absolutely right. So enjoying that. And our next meeting is on Monday, September 8th at 6 p.m. And we have invited the executive director of YMCA from Long Island City to come and present. We'll also be discussing our budget priorities, so everyone's welcome to come if they want to present.
Good job. The school district authority has some event in LIC, right? There's something I may have heard of. There's like some meeting. Let's see, did you mention that to me?
Is that the, oh, sorry.
School, something about LIC new schools.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, please, Mike.
I can send it to the office, but there's a survey on to get public input on the needs to open a school and where to open it in LIC.
Okay, cool, awesome. Right. That's it for Health and Human Services. Eric, arts and culture.
Arts and culture typically meets on the second Tuesday of the month, but just note our meeting this month is rescheduled to Monday, September 15th, 6 p.m. And we'll be planning to discuss our advocacy agenda for the year at that meeting and have some other guests, I believe. One other note, as folks may remember, Sunnyside was designated by the Historic Districts Council as a neighborhood to celebrate. And so as part of their work with us this year, they'll be doing a survey of the community to identify buildings, collections of buildings and public spaces that might be candidates for preservation. So we're going to be working to promote that survey and gather feedback about things that folks would like to see preserved in the community. And that'll be important data both for us in terms of broader advocacy efforts, trying to do tours in the community, and just kind of celebrate the culture and community in the neighborhood. But I think it'll also be valuable data for land use and, especially kind of land use issues in the neighborhood in the future. We'll want to be aware of some of the things that the community is thinking about. So stay tuned for that. And if you haven't noticed, the Sunnyside mural is back up on 40th Street. So let's stay tuned.
As is the Avenue of the World, right? That went up over the summer, so we didn't get to, celebrate that. So that's pretty cool on Greenpoint, South Sunnyside. Cool. Thank you. What's next? Danielle for City Services.
So in short and sweet, because the last meeting was before the last board meeting in June, but we are meeting this Wednesday at 6:30. There's a packed agenda, but we are also going to talk about budget priorities, and I really like the committee and whoever else is attending to have some ideas about public safety and cars parked on sidewalks and things like that, and how we can put those things in the budget. That's all. Thanks.
If I may, I forgot to, sorry, did anyone have a question? Okay, sorry, yeah. What- Oh, okay, well, before we leave, city services, I was, gonna, let, Evelyn make a quick announcement. Kind of wearing her hat from Sunnyside Shines as well, so if you just wanna make a quick announcement. A small business.
No, I excited to discuss Taste of Sunnyside, it's October 12th. So far we have, I think, 43 businesses signed up, so if you see any business that we should approach, definitely let us know. And aside from Taste of Sunnyside, we also have a, Sunnyside Night Market Hispanic Heritage, edition. And it's gonna be September 21st, with 52 vendors right now, including our small businesses. Most of our small businesses will be selling street food and, all our local arts and craftsmen and everything, as well as, live entertainment from Ecuador, Peru. I don't know if you guys have heard of Palante, but they're a Sunnyside, Puerto Rican salsa club, and they'll be performing and also teaching salsa. So everyone's invited.
Thanks.
September 21st.
Yeah, land use.
Hi, everyone. So our last land use meeting was in June. I believe it made it after the, well, it was after the June 5th board meeting.
Before the vote,
So
yeah.
And it was packed. Our agenda, and part of it was a joint meeting with Arts and Culture and Committee, and we had a lengthy discussion with the owners, the new owners of the Bliss Theater site, who are in very preliminary consideration of what they might do on that site, which would, I mean, they're getting prepared to put in for a rezoning there. Although it's still very initial, we did emphasize two things. One, in theory, at least, they are open to an incorporating of multi-purpose art space. And also, we really emphasize some historical some display, exterior street level display that would refer back to the Bliss Theater, possibly preserve some artifacts or pieces of the Bliss Theater and, Art Deco entry and sort of make that permanently public. They're very clear, of which I don't necessarily agree with, that they feel that their architect has looked at preserving that whole entrance piece and kind of incorporating that in the building, and they don't think that's financially feasible. So, we don't have much power there. But I think some historical memory of the theater is important. Well, so that's a very early stage. We had DEP, representatives from DEP, who talked as referred to, I think, in some of the one LIC discussions. Their official position seems to be that there really aren't sewer problems in Long Island City. And the new stormwater regs are gonna in fact improve the situation. But that kind of goes against, I think, what a lot of people are actually experiencing in Long Island City. So there does seem to be a somewhat disconnect between that agency and what's heard on the ground, but that wasn't resolved. We also approved one landmarks application from, again, from Long Island City for a rear yard enlargement that was virtually identical to several others on the block. Those are much less controversial than the ones in the garbage because nobody can see them. And then I would just mention that we also heard from a developer or development team that controls the site on Stillman Avenue, basically backing up to the rail lines, rail yards. And they're contemplating another fairly massive rezoning along there, and which would probably be similar in scale to the Phipps, the project that's under construction now behind Phipps houses. And so I think that there's going to be quite a number of individual rezonings coming up, Sunnyside, Woodside, in addition to what we talked about for Long Island City. And, that's it.
Well, speaking of one LIC, Christine, we were also talking earlier about the testimony on the 17th. I mean, not only should we, not only should we show up in numbers, but we should also like coordinate a bit. So we kind of rehearse and, get all of our points in there. Because, you never know when they call you in what order. So, to kind of get all our points in now at this stage of the process, we should coordinate a bit.
Right, I mean, I think, yes, we want to coordinate and maybe probably need to have a call or something before the 17th to know who's available to testify either virtually or in person. And then, have a number, so one person would speak officially on behalf of the board. And then others can testify as individuals to address some of the other points that we feel are important. In other words, we really want to cover for city planning to hear all of our priorities as clearly as possible. Sorry, not city planning, city council. Yes, sure.
Quick question, wanted to clarify all these upcoming rezonings or spot rezonings, then, right? They're not. I just wanted the different.
They're private rezoning.
Yeah,
They're private rezonings.
Just to,
Spot rezoning is a kind of bad.
right, okay, so they're private rezonings, just different from what one LIC has, city. And then the other thing is just, a personal thing is encouraging people to testify, but recognizing they can do both. They can be there as an individual and like I could go and say, I'm here like supporting the community board. I'm also as an individual who's a homeowner, and these are issues, like just to encourage people who might not want to just toe the line, that they should still show up and testify.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Benji, behind you.
Thank you. I don't know, I understand that the CB2 or any of the community board is very little power, but every time there is one of these demands that are made where we're going to vote and you're going to say, it's like, hey, we want affordable housing, we want this, we want that. We need to strategize to make that happen because all over New York City, there's more buildings that end up promising to have more actually affordable housing, but then the result is that there is almost none that gets actually built, actually opened. And there is another thing is we have had quite a few new buildings in Woodside, in particular, in Long Island City, and that's thousands of new inhabitants. We have not a higher frequency of trains on the 7 train or on the different train lines. There is no plan to build new train lines. A BRT is cute, but a BRT has not been cut it for thousands and thousands and thousands of extra people living in the neighborhood. We need to somehow make a real plan. I mean, like Paris in what, 7 or 8 years, built a whole few new subway line for the Olympic Games for less cost than the extension for 2 stations. Right, in Paris, a city that has 8,000 years of inhabitation of artifacts to dig out and to preserve. New York City also has a lot of old places to preserve, and I don't understand that. So I'm sorry, it's like maybe it's just me being upset about something we can't do anything about it. But we must find a mechanism to make that happen.
We advocate, yeah, absolutely. Amen.
I can't testify in person because I have to be work, but I'm going to submit written testimony, so I do think we should offer that option.
Oh, yes.
The other thing about written testimony is it can be as long as you want it to be, as someone who has submitted a lot of written testimony. So we should talk about that and maybe have a guide of like the points to hit, because you can hit all the points. That's funny.
I'm gonna task chair of the one LIC working group to create like a cheat sheet for people to refer to, and as we prepare for this. Julie. Wait for the mic.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I have a question. A few years ago, there was a plan to a big project was started from the Bronx to Queens to direct to Brooklyn. The way should be straight to the Jackson Heights, the always straight. So like there's a new project, absolutely brand new project, and the bus goes to brings over to the Brooklyn. Does anyone have any plan for this in the Queens community?
I think that's
Because
outside
there is a
the,
primary discussion in the governor office, I know, is it 2 years before, because it's a big project. No, it's a sky, not underground. Yeah, the trains, like a similar, like the F train, E train, like same thing. So it can be helpful in near future, just for a question.
I was also gonna shout out, somebody member Raga is here, so thank you for joining us. Any insight on this thing? Any insight on this thing? The IBX. Yeah. Sorry, you want to wait for the?
We're in contact with the IBX and governor's office, but specifically right now, because our district covers Middle Village and Maspeth. So, there is gonna be another round of community input in the fall. And I know it's gonna be at least in the eastern side of my district and the southern side, but I'll follow up to see if there's anything CB2 related that we can do. But I know in the summer, there's been a lull on it, but we had a civic meeting and a stakeholder meeting, with the IBX team back in late spring. There plans to be a follow-up this fall and we'll look at CB2 if there's any opportunities.
Amazing, thank you. All right, let's move on to environment and Parks and Rec. Carlos.
So first I wanted to say, Corey, just so you know, and everyone, if you want to check online, you can see the resurfacing schedule for the whole city. It only goes a week in advance, so you'd have to check back, but like you can actually see, it's like public website. If you want to see like, oh, is this getting resurfaced or built or whatever. So at our last June meeting, we had DEP come to us as well. They gave a kind of general presentation overview of what DEP does about specifically flooding, kind of things. And then they were also giving a lot of tips about things that people can do to help prevent or protect themselves from their homes flooding, from their properties flooding. I think, DEP has a lot of work they can still do to help protect our communities, but also they're not going to protect us from climate change alone. So there's a lot of work we all need to do. So encourage people to go to this as well. Make sure you educate yourself. We also had Rebuild by Design come and present about a project that they were involved with Jersey City, where I think it's Jersey City. It was either Jersey City or Hoboken, where they have created a network of parks in a specific area that is designed to specifically absorb stormwater and be like a new kind of way to tackle flooding in a very high flood risk area. So it's something that was very interesting. I can show the presentation if anyone wants, but the kind of idea is that instead of just trying to build more catch basins in Sunnyside or Woodside or Long Island City, the idea is kind of create a network of small parks that can be green infrastructure for this. I know it's not necessarily a new idea, but it's kind of a fun idea. And then that's it. Any questions?
One of the, something from my report I forgot to mention is, we had a conversation with Nexamp, the energy storage, battery storage project on Review Avenue. They have, New Time for People Alliances support, and they have Councilmember One support, but they, in order to get the borough support, they need a letter from the Environment Committee of a letter from our Environment Committee. So Carlos will take the lead on that, and that'll be one of the other follow-ups from this summer. So yeah. All right. So thanks, Carlos. Maureen's not here, so engagement inclusion to close us out. Tanya. Yep.
Good evening, everyone. So I want to report from our last event on July 12th. We celebrated our fourth meet and greet at Sangers Hall. Assembly members Claire Valdez and Stephen Raga joined us. They also reminded us that they're here to supporting anything we need. We had members from the Elmhurst Community Board also joining us. They were curious to learn what we did during the meet and greet, and they wanted to learn on how to incorporate it in their board. From our district, we had small business owners, real estate professionals, and Democrat advocates wanting to know what we really did at Community Board 2 and how to join, how to apply, and to learn more about the public member opportunities. Right after, we headed to the Whitmuller Park to join the Queen's Dance Festival that's planned, and we were delighted to see like maybe 9 or 10 different dance groups, including one from Ecuador. And finally, the feedback we received was that we should plan this more often. So we will definitely be having one more event for the winter for just to make sure that we get everyone's schedule. Our next meeting, Engagement and Inclusion Committee meeting, is on Tuesday, September 23rd. That's all. Thank you.
Thanks, Sonia. Yeah, I was thanking everyone who came out for the meet and greet. What was cool was like half the room, 40% of them were also like new and non-board members, right? So that was pretty cool to see. And we should, yeah, that's what we should do it more often. Thanks, Sonia. Motion to adjourn. Sorry, Patrick. Oh, something around that. Last call for any updates if you like. All right, so we're allowing everyone to hang out, so he's over there. But thanks for joining us. Okay. Okay. Call the question, all in favor. All right. Have a good night. See you October 9th.